What's up, dudes? Max here, back with an update to the biggest thing happening in fighting game news at the moment, and that's the rumors of Marvel vs. Capcom 4. The last I left you guys off with was a hopeful possibility of the game being real, but I wanted everyone to temper their excitement, giving only about a 5% chance of the game being a possibility. However, over the past couple of days, a lot of stuff has come to light that I can't specifically give you the details of, but it definitely has changed my opinion on things, so I kind of feel like this guy right now.
This could be a lot more complex. I mean, it might not be just such a simple,
What in God's holy name are you blathering about?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm blathering about. I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
Essentially, to summarize everything, over the past couple of days, a lot of people have been coming forward with eyewitness accounts of folks that are going to be at Capcom Cup saying that at the end of the show, there is going to be a reveal of Marvel vs. Capcom of some kind. This information not only was coming from forum members on certain select forums like NeoGAF, like we were talking before, but was also coming from other sources outside of that. And the big one that dropped today was from Polygon, who is actually reporting that Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is happening in 2017. A lot of us were speculating that, wow, their source is probably the NeoGAF thread and the people that are on there that are vouching for the game's existence, but the person that's coming forward with this information at Polygon has gone on record recently saying that he does know about the threat on NeoGAF, however, his information comes from a completely different source. So now we're getting similar information coming from different people, and one of them now is an official huge news outlet for video games, where it's not specifically forum members kind of telling something that they know and hoping everyone trusts them. It's more along the lines of this person's job is kind of on the line because that's all they do is report this stuff. I know Polygon doesn't have a perfect track record by any means, but I do remember them early reporting the Final Fantasy VII Remake about a day or two before the E3 appearance of that game, so that's why I'm approaching this with a bit of validity. I'm also approaching this with the fact that I've heard of quite a few things, and people have told me some pretty significant stories over the past couple of days that have me fairly convinced that this is most likely going to happen, along with another piece of info that's been roaming around these people that actually have the story and have heard things. The biggest one is that there's a chance that this game could not have any mutant characters or X-Men characters at all. Instead, Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is to be heavily focused around the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so we're going to be seeing a lot of Avengers-type characters, maybe even potential Spider-Man characters, because they do have a Spider-Man movie coming up pretty soon, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's not just Polygon that specifically said this, because in the Polygon article, they said the game is going to focus heavily on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There has been other stories that have been talking about this as well leading up to this couple of days, and now even Polygon is specifically mentioning that, yeah, there's probably not going to be any mutants or X-Men in this game. And that is some shocking news, especially considering the legacy of the Marvel vs. Capcom series, and it technically began with X-Men Children of the Atom. We all might remember the Marvel vs. Capcom Origins that did come out a couple years ago. It had a compilation of Marvel vs. Capcom titles on it, which included Marvel Superheroes and Marvel vs. Capcom 1. While many would agree, and I completely agree, Marvel 1 is one of the most popular games in the entire Marvel vs. Capcom series, outside of Marvel 2, which already had its own HD remaster type game. But Marvel Superheroes absolutely wasn't the most popular other versus game amongst the titles. It definitely goes to X-Men vs. Street Fighter, but it was mysteriously missing from that compilation pack, as well as the fact that there isn't too many X-Men characters really in Marvel vs. Capcom in comparison to the others, and the fact that X-Men vs. Street Fighter focuses specifically on X-Men, fighting specifically Street Fighter characters. So I'm kind of thinking that this turmoil has been going on for quite some time, as we have known with Marvel that Marvel's been trying to phase the shit out of the X-Men for a long time now, because Marvel, as we know right now, doesn't own all the X-Men movie and rights to make toys and merchandise. Instead, they share that, or if not, Fox actually has a huge control over that. Characters like Deadpool, any X-Men characters, and even any other Fantastic Four characters have a very high probability of not making an appearance in Marvel vs. Capcom 4, if it even is a thing. You also got to consider this is still not confirmed, just the story that Marvel's going to be focusing on the cinematic universe, if it even is a thing. So that means we could be seeing another Marvel vs. Capcom game in the future, if it does happen, that doesn't include characters like Wolverine, that doesn't include characters like Magneto, Sentinel, Storm, and the craziest one is Doctor Doom. What you will be seeing, like we said before, Avengers characters on the Marvel side, Guardians of the Galaxy characters, and since Marvel has a big Spider-Man movie that's going to be coming out fairly soon, you're probably going to be seeing some mainstay Spider-Man characters and villains. And taking all this information that has been rumored into account, even though it hasn't happened, I would like to say that would completely suck. If there is a reveal of Marvel vs. Capcom 4 at some point this week during the Capcom Cup, then I really hope that Wolverine is one of the first characters we see, because that will alleviate this possibility, which overall is very depressing. Would have me pretty damn sad, because the roots of the entirety of the Marvel vs. Capcom series holds its legacy in things that I actually love most about the Marvel comics, and that was Jim Lee's X-Men. That's when I've ever been the most invested into Marvel Comics, and that was one of the biggest reasons I liked Marvel vs. Capcom, was because the X-Men had some amazing characters, and I really liked seeing them paired up with Capcom's characters. I completely understand things have dramatically changed, especially the relationship between Marvel and Fox, and how Marvel's been specifically phasing out the X-Men for quite some time now. They're doing a new reboot of some kind, but obviously the ground is not stable, meaning that we might be sacrificing the X-Men to get a Marvel vs. Capcom 4, but we'll find out. I don't want to see those characters gone. I think they are a very important aspect of the Marvel vs. Capcom series, but I would be very happy if the game existed, because even if it is a Marvel vs. Capcom game, I'm more personally excited about the Capcom legacy of characters and which characters they're going to choose and pick from the entire huge selection that they have had over the past several decades of making video games. Based off all this new information and the fact that we have multiple news sources reporting from different other sources that Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is going to make an appearance at the PlayStation Experience, most likely at the end of the Capcom Cup, I would like to update my probability factor. Earlier, we were saying that there was a 5% chance this was happening, but based on all this and the stories I've heard from people directly, I'm going to bump this up to 50%. That's right. There's a good 50% chance you could be seeing a Marvel vs. Capcom 4 trailer. However, I would like to tell you guys once again, this is not a confirmation of any kind, as this could be one of the most elaborate rumor troll pranks that has ever been conceived, because we simply have not seen anything of the game yet or have confirmation from official sources. But even a 50% chance still is kind of rough. I don't know if you've ever played roulette before. I myself am a master, but I've made 50-50 bets a lot in my life, and that stuff has not hit way more than I would like to admit. As always, guys, thank you a ton for watching. I'll be back with more information, especially after Capcom Cup, when we know more of what's going on, but I will actually be at the event, and I hope something happens. I mean, at least I'd get to play Akuma in Street Fighter V. If that even is Akuma. What's the worst that can happen? It's like a Lego Street Fighter game? Yeah, that'd be pretty bad.